It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I actually curled my hair with a flat iron. A lot of people were like writing me and asking me questions like how I flat iron, so I did a short and then I was like, let me go ahead and create a video. So the first thing that I always like to do is, of course, section off my hair. I will go ahead and link the previous video because this was wavy hair and I did have to go ahead and blow dry it. So I did go ahead and slow it down. I always chase the flat irons first before I curl it. So of course, after I chase the flat irons, I then go ahead and I begin curling. So I slowed this down so that you guys could get like some sort of idea of how I actually flat iron my hair. It is literally a continuous motion. Not every curl is going to be perfect. So I was like, let me go ahead and show you how one of my back curls actually came out. In the back, I kind of don't curl my hair all the same way because when I do the pin curls, I kind of wrap them up in the same motion so that they can kind of come out the same way. But as you guys see, the hair is just all over the place, but as you can see, I'm still kind of going in the same motion. So I'm going to go ahead and put the flat irons in the same place where I began the curl, and now I'm just going to continuously curl under. If you want to curl over, you can, but I feel like curling under is the easiest and quickest way to kind of learn and figure out how to curl. So as you guys see, I'm literally wrapping it. And this is where it kind of gets tricky because you don't want to wrap. You don't want to like hold it in place because if you do, it will leave like this crusty crunch in the hair. And when you try to go back to correct it, it's going to be a little difficult to get it out because you kind of put a print in the hair. That's why it's so important to make sure when you are curling your hair or your weave, you want to make sure that you take your time and you curl it in a slow motion. I actually slowed this down so that you guys could see. While I am continuously curling, I'm kind of like opening and closing the flat irons like just a little bit so that it leaves me a little bit of room to, one, continuously curl and to also make sure that I'm not like leaving like a crunchy print in the hair, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do it one more time because I want to say my flat irons were heating up. And this was actually perfect. So I am literally curling under. I'm literally wrapping the hair at the same time. And I'm opening and closing slowly. Like, you don't have to like open and close it wide, but you want to make sure that you're like opening and closing it as you're curling down because it's going to allow you to pull the flat irons as you're curling. So this is really good, especially when you get to the ends. I always like to make sure that I'm like holding my flat irons. As you see, like I'm opening and closing it. It's kind of giving like that bouncing feel. And I literally just continuously wrap all the way until I get to the ends. Then I curl the hair up with the flat irons. Hold it for a few minutes and then I let the curl loose. So as you see, sometimes the flat irons can get a little tricky when you get to the ends. That's why you want to make sure you continuously curl. And you see, not as much hair is left at the bottom. And I went ahead and I sped it up so that you guys could actually see what it looks like. It looks like the flat irons are literally jumping. And like I said, I literally curl the flat irons and I let it hold. And then once I do that, I just go ahead and pin curl my hair. Now, you can flexi ride your hair or pin curl it, whatever works for you. I did the same thing on this side as well. So I kind of want to just talk you through it. You want to make sure that you section off your hair, chase the flat irons through, aka just flat iron the hair straight, right? Take your time with that because you want it to be as straight as possible. And then you're going to take the flat irons And this is me curling over. I showed you guys how to curl under. Now I'm showing you guys how to curl over, which the technique is the same. You place the hair in between the flat irons, and instead of curling down, you curl up. And you just make sure that you curl in the same motion. You open and close the flat irons just a little bit, like your hand is pausing. That way it's easy for the flat irons to move gently on the hair, and you just continuously curl up, right? It'll take a few tries to get it, so don't beat yourself up the first time, because it took me a little minute to figure out the flat irons. But the crazy thing is, I feel like I curl better with the flat irons versus the curling iron, and that's crazy. But nevertheless, it literally gets easier as you do it. But I pretty much did the same thing that I did on the other side. I held the flat irons with the curl, and then I went ahead, I took a pin, I took a little bit of holding spray, and then I just pinned it up because I wanted my curls to actually hold. You can use whatever holding spray that you want. I like spritz, so that's my thing. And you also want to make sure, I just made sure I did this in regular speed. You want to make sure too that when you are sectioning your hair off, you don't want to have a whole lot of hair, right? Because it's not going to turn out right. So you just want to make sure that you part your hair and that you curl it in a good motion. Take your time. Open and close the flat irons. That way it's easier for you to get the curl. That way the flat irons can go through the hair easy. And just take your time. So as you see now, I'm curling back under. Since I have a side part, depending on how you curl your hair, of course you're going to get different results. I like my bang to have like a really dramatic swoop, so sometimes it might call for me to change from me curling over to curling under to curling under or over. So just keep that note. But I mean, it's very self-explanatory. I'm not gonna talk through the entire video. I know you're like, girl, you know, I already talked through 7 minutes of this video, girl, might as well talk through the rest. I'm not gonna do y'all like that. But I did want you guys to see how I did it in slow motion, and now I'm just gonna slow it down. So I really hope that this was helpful, and I'm going to I'm gonna chime back in at the end of the video so that way you guys can see the end product. So this is how my hair came out. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video just as much as I did creating it. Make sure you guys go back and see the full video of how I actually did the quick weave. But until then, I cannot wait to see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much and see you next time.